welcome back to Basil Designs, Resin with Rachel. And for today's project, I wanted to see if I could get a really cool three-dimensional or blooming flower effect with some cheap Amazon pigments. You guys, these are probably the first thing that pops up when you put in resin pigments in Amazon. They are extremely cheap, and I want to see what kind of effect we could get with these pigments. They don't even say alcohol ink on the box, to be honest with you. And I've had these pigments for a long time. I've seen a lot of resin videos with your more expensive alcohol inks, and they achieve this blooming flower effect. And I wanted to test it out and see if we could come up with the same effect using not so expensive supplies. So the resin that I use is the Let's Resin brand, and I poured it into one of my my coaster molds, and I'm using, and I don't even know the brand, to be honest with you, because I don't have the box anymore, but it is just cheap resin pigment, and they are more translucent. They aren't your thick, heavy, darker pigments. And I put a brighter pink in the middle, and then I'm using more of a purple, a light purple, to go around for my second layer. And I put a darker pink for the outside, and I'll speed the video up for you in just a second. I was just wanting to kind of show you the process of what I am doing. So the reason why I decided to use these was because, one, I've had them for a long time. Two, they're inexpensive. And additionally, they're not very dark, right? To get this three-dimensional blooming flower effect, you don't want your ink that you're doing for your flower to be super, super dark, at least in my opinion. So as you can see here, I saved my little bit of a darker color for the outside, and then I do go into the center with a little bit of some yellow. So I'm going to stop here and speed up the video so you can see what I am talking about. Okay, so I've sped up the video a little bit for you here, and like I said, I put my darker pink kind of on the outside, and right now it looks like I'm using the yellow, and I wanted to have some kind of contrasting color for the center of my flower. So I thought yellow would be perfect for this, so I just put those 4 dots in it, and now I'm just gonna let my resin sit. Okay, so I think the key thing with doing these blooming flowers is to let your resin get to a certain temperature. So as you can see now, I'm just kind of swirling it around a little bit, blending the colors, and then also swirling the middle part. And once I'm done swirling, like I said, I just let it sit. So I have saved a little bit of my resin off to the side, and that's what I'm going to use for my white. But the trick is letting your resin get to a certain temperature before you pour the white in. So as you can see here, I think I've let it set for like 30 minutes maybe, and you can see how my inks kind of came to the middle like that. So I took the temperature of the white. I like to use Let's Resin Ocean White. I put just a teeny bit of that white pigment in there because it's really, really heavy. And if you put too much, your resin, that white will sink to the bottom. You know that you're going to get the flower blooming effect when you put your resin in there and it stays on the surface. Okay, I've done this many times to where it sank and then it doesn't look good and you don't get the blooming effect. So I let my white, like I said, I mixed a little bit of that ocean white, and then I put some white alcohol ink into my white, right? Because the alcohol ink is what typically helps it to spread. I let my resin get to about 40 degrees Celsius, and then I knew it was time to go ahead and pour. And as you can see here, I made some circles around the edges, and then I'm just using my tool to make a really pretty patterned flower effect to it. And then after I'm done with that, I'm gonna let it sit. And I did. I watched it for a while to see if it was blooming, and it was. It was blooming beautifully. So we're gonna let it sit for 24 hours and demold it. And here you go. So it looks like I went ahead and put some glitter in the center. Didn't film that, but I had some extra glitter laying around, so I put it in the middle of the flower, and then I let it sit. So this is what you guys are about to see. And it actually turned out to be really, really good. I was kind of surprised. So it's hard to tell on the white, so I'm about to put it on a black background, but I did. I got the perfect blooming flower effect. It looked really good, and I was quite surprised with using the cheap resin pigment that I had picked up. So you guys, you don't have to have expensive supplies to get the same beautiful effect. So I was quite surprised with this project. So it turned out really nice. I really appreciate you watching. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you for your continued support. And if you're new to my channel, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I'll come up with another full DIY process on this blooming flower effect soon. All right, we'll see you at the next resin pour.